We can be in.
Sure. Are we in like right now?
Yeah. You want to be in? Be in. Be in.
So you said you haven't had your hair cut in a week?
Yeah. I mean, I cut it myself though. So it's not, it doesn't grow a ton.
I was going to say, did you get a receipt for that?
Oh.
Be nice.
Yeah. Be nice.
Come on.
I haven't had mine cut in a month and my hair's kind of high. I got high hair. Everyone.
Let's see David's hair. What you got under that hat, David?
Push it forward. Push it forward.
Look at that, huh?
Wow.
That's a good
Oh my God.
Let's just cover that back up.
Let's go ahead and cover that back up.
That's very neat.
Dave.
You
want to do a podcast?
You know I do.
Let's go. Hold on. I'm going to do a drum roll.
Unidentical.
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 Welcome back to the Unidentical podcast. I am Jason Collins, and here with me, as always, is my co-host,
David Collins.
And don't forget, super producer, Mr. Solo Man in the house.
Hello.
Please continue to rate and review at Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, wherever it is that you download your podcast. Make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and a wonderful review. Helps with the algorithms. If you want to watch the podcast, of course, we're on YouTube at the Unidentical Pod. Unidentical Pod on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when a new ep is coming.
Yes.
I said hit.
Yeah, it's ring, man.
It's ring. Coming to you, as always, recorded here and produced at the Podcast Place in Long Beach, California. Make sure, if you want a good podcast, if you want a quality podcast, you want your podcast to look and sound amazing, right here, you come to this place. You'll be at the right place. And it is, which place is it?
The Podcast Place.
No, it is not the.
It's called Podcast Place.
Podcast Place. Way to screw that up, Dave.
No, I was testing Solomon.
Way to screw that up.
Podcast Street, Podcast Avenue.
That's why I like the
Circle.
logo.
Podcast Place. There
Podcast
you go.
Avenue.
I like the corner sign logos. Very cool.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah. See?
I'm slow on that one.
Podcast Place.
All right, let's
Podcast Place.
Let's also not forget about this here. So.
Yes. Everything Unidentical. Your one-stop shop, baby. It's unidenticalpod.com. Everything's there. Links to the episodes, links to the videos, links to the audios, and our website where you can buy our merchandise and, get that drip. Get that drip, yo.
Yeah.
Drip. Isn't that what the kids say? The drip.
Sure.
Do I look like a kid to you?
Yo. Shit is drippery. Drippery one wet,
Drippery.
homie. Yep. What else do we have on there? We have a link to the Amazon special. It's not me. It is you. Not me. It's you on Amazon. I'm not sure how much longer it's going to be on Amazon. I'm thinking of moving to a different streaming.
Really?
It's a good idea.
Are you not getting anything off Amazon? Or
No, it's people are watching it, but it's just you got to find it. It's one of those things where it's not an Amazon original, so Amazon's not really doing anything to push it. So it's all word of mouth. Which, by the way, with the grassroots producing that we promoting that we are doing, pretty decent numbers.
Gotcha.
However, it isn't global. Anybody that's listening to the podcast out of the country or watching, it's not available in a lot of different places. I've done stand up in India, so I've gotten a lot of messages from India saying we can't see your special.
You've done stand up in India?
Yeah, I did 2 weeks in India.
No kidding.
Mhm.
You got to tell me about that experience.
Yeah,
It's
crazy.
It seems like people either love India or they hate it. Like, is there?
The reason to hate it is a first world problem. Like if you're used to your comfortable first world stuff,
right?
Okay.
It can be uncomfortable. It's very hot. It's very crowded. The waters, do not drink the water.
Oh,
What do you drink?
Oh, it makes Mexico water look like Avion. It's crazy.
But do they drink the water?
Yeah, but their stomachs are used to it. Like
Right. Yeah.
they even told me when you're in India, don't get lettuce because they use the water. They wash the water with.
Wash lettuce with water.
So if you're drinking water, you're drinking bottled water. Like that's all I drank out there was bottled water. But I was there for 2 weeks and I lost 10 pounds when I was in India because after the first week, nothing like first of all, the food is incredible. If you like Indian food,
right?
Authentic Indian food is so delicious. And we got to understand, we were at a major high-end resort where we were staying. So they have their own filtration system. They have all that.
Where
Right.
in India is that?
I stayed in Mumbai, I stayed in Bangalore, and I stayed in Delhi. 3 different places.
Where were you, David?
Uh,
You didn't go on that trip?
no. I'm not excited about going to India for some reason. After
It's so beautiful, man.
I know, but all we know sometimes are how they portray things on social media.
right,
And you see overcrowded, you hear
It's all true.
things about body odor. You hear,
True again.
yeah, and then you hear like
True
the
again.
caste system, and then you hear the trains where people are just like stuffed on these trains and all
Oh
that.
man, I didn't go on the train. Some of the guys on our crew,
Yeah.
they went out and ventured into the city and did the train thing because these guys love traveling the world.
where was it that you
And-
told me the driving was really nuts? Like there were no real rules.
There's like their rules. Like to them, it's organized chaos, but it's the constant horn honking. Like in LA, if you're honking at somebody, it's because you're pissed.
Right.
They're just communicating.
They're using the horn for its original intent.
It's constant, and they're cutting people off.
So maybe the
We
horn
pulled
is
out.
default on, and you
Yeah.
have to press it to actually turn it off.
One day we
Well, that's
pulled
its
out of.
default purpose. That's the reason why the horn is made, isn't it? To communicate, not to yell at
I don't
people.
know.
No.
I have no idea. Really?
I think that's what they're using it to make everyone alert and aware of you.
They're doing it. They're honking. And everyone. And first of all, so many scooters and motorcycles.
Okay.
And they're putting full families on these little scooters. Like we were in our, van, and this scooter pulls up next to us. It's a husband, a wife, 2 kids, and an infant.
On like a little Honda Spree.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
On the most crazy highways you'll ever be on. There's
So
the
the traffic
lane
lights
changing
and
is,
stuff, or-
huh?
Are there traffic lights and all that?
They're well in, I think it was Bangalore or Delhi. I can't remember which one.
I think they're just,
Bangalore.
and I think the traffic lights are just suggestions.
Well, in I can't remember one of the 2 places we went, they got rid of traffic lights. They took out all the traffic lights and just put roundabouts, thinking that would make it. Oh, it's fucking chaos. It's
Yeah.
chaos. And then there's like giant monkeys walking down the street. You know what I mean? It's
wait, what?
nuts. Yeah,
Giant monkeys
yeah.
walking down the
big
street.
old, and they're
Okay,
thieves.
see, now I want to go.
Are they high fiving people along the way? What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay.
But when I was in, what was I saying? So one day, this is how crazy the traffic is and how used to it they are.
Mm-hmm.
We pull out of the resort, wherever is the resort the right way to say it? This whole big hotel. We pull out, and as soon as we get out of the property and onto the streets of India, a guy in a scooter ran right into the side of the van. Right? Boom.
Oh.
And falls over. And I'm like, oh shit, we just got in an accident. And the driver's like, what are you talking about? And then the guy on the scooter just gets up, dusts himself off, gets back on, and bones out. Like it's just, this is just every day.
Oh, wow.
Jay's reaching for his insurance card.
I
I'm like,
know.
we're gonna make a
Thinking
claim.
we're going to jail.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in an Indian prison for the
So
rest
it
of my
was
life.
nuts. Russell Peters' brother, Clayton, shout out Clayton Peters. He was the leader of the whole thing. He ran the whole tour. Told me when we were flying out there, he's like, the best way I could describe India is it's humanity hitting you at 100 miles per hour as soon as you get off the plane.
That's interesting.
And I go, what do you mean? He goes, the people, the smells, the heat.
What a great
everything.
That's a great description.
Yeah,
I can
that's
visualize
poetic.
that.
That's
And it
like-
was 100% exact. That was so accurate. Like the plane door opened and it was like, oh,
Yeah.
close it. So hot. You've been so hot that you're like your breathing is like,
Yeah.
it was like that immediately. And then you get into the world, onto the streets, and it's everything. It's cars, motorcycles, scooters, people. There's intersections and all this stuff.
Where are
And
they all going?
I don't know, but there's no light. There's no rhyme or reason to it at all.
What
Food was incredible.
Were
though.
there open spaces, parks, things like that? Places just where you can.
It was
go
in
and hang
Mumbai
out?
where we were, which is originally Bombay.
Mm-hmm.
The beaches are beautiful, but there's just so many people.
So
I don't know
no-
if you go. I don't know if they swim in the water. I don't know how it works, but yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you think you've flown over New York, you've flown into Chicago, you've flown into LA, you've flown into these huge cities. It ain't shit compared. Mumbai it's like 5 New Yorks in a row. It's crazy how big the city is, and just there's how many people in India? How many people are in India?
Let's see. I don't know.
It's a big.
While
it's a
you're
billions.
looking, when I said I'm not interested in going, and
Oh my God.
Solomon was like, yeah, because of how it's portrayed and everything. Well, let me ask you, would you want to go back?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I would go back, but I'd go back with a little more knowledge because
Right. Your own bottled
the
water.
smells, man. First of all, the hotel that I was staying in was at 1.4 billion.
1.4, yeah.
1.4 billion people in India. Holy shnikes.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So the hotel that I stayed in was just the lap of luxury.
Opulence.
Opulence. Like the richest man in India lives in a freaking high rise. Like the entire skyscraper is his home.
Shut up.
Yeah. And he bought his daughter for her wedding, her own skyscraper. Like, and in his, from what
Imagine
I heard, I
her
don't know if
friends.
this is rumor or what, but you could look it up. Apparently there's a floor in his skyrise where you can ski.
What?
Yeah.
So amazing. Well, imagine her friends going to their parents. So-and-so got a skyscraper.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just got a Bugatti. This
Mhm,
sucks.
right. This is bullshit. And that's the thing. The classes, it's black and white, man. There's no middle class there.
Right.
You're either rolling in the dough or you are sleeping on the street. I have so many pictures I'll show you. I had this one picture we were walking down the street and there was this line of scooters against the curb, and each scooter has a child just sleeping on it.
Interesting.
And you're literally walking over people sleeping in the street. And apparently they know where they know their station. They know that that's who they are and that's their role. It's
Yeah.
weird, man.
Man.
Yeah. So
We
is there-
hung out with a very rich, one of the richest guys in India. We hung out with him one night, and just the difference. It's just a crazy thing. But the deodorant thing, they don't like. A lot of them don't wear it,
Why?
even if it's not a poor rich thing.
Yeah.
Here's what I heard. Correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of the deodorant over there, it's aerosol, it's spray,
Yeah.
and apparently that turns your skin black after a while, like your underarms dark or
wow.
something. But we were, oh my God, we're driving from the hotel to the gig one night, and Russell's brother, just so funny, he goes, "Oh God," and they're Indian. You know, Russell wasn't born in India. He's from Canada, but his older brother was born in Bombay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're there, but his brother just has no patience for it. It's fucking hilarious. He's like, "Oh God, can you roll the window down, sir? We're downwind. Have you ever heard of deodorant?" Like he's doing.
He
shit
was
like
saying
that.
it.
Oh my God,
Oh, dude.
I was laughing.
So they just
hard.
don't want their armpits to get dark. So
No.
they just want to be pretty and stanky.
Oh, and some of them have the most beautiful hair. Their hair,
Yeah.
the dudes, they're just like, fuck. They're like high,
Pompadours and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, you see
gorgeous,
the cool,
beautiful women.
That
It's
was my
insane.
next question.
Yeah.
That was actually the most important question.
Beautiful. Oh,
Yeah. What do the
Absolutely.
women look like?
absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And when we were there, we were around probably some of the most beautiful and famous women in India because we were invited to the GQ magazine Indian Man of the Year party.
Oh wow.
And that was like very, exclusive party.
who won?
I did.
Oh,
It's crazy.
nice. And you're not even Indian.
But when we were there, it was a trip. The guy, one of the photographers was this white dude named Jason. This white guy named Jason. I go, what are you doing out here? He goes, well, I live out here. I'm like,
Mhm.
how are you? How's your stomach? Because I was eating the food in the resort
Yeah.
and it was going through me. I was a cylinder. It was like, now you see it, now you see it again. It was bad. So the second week, all I did for food, I ate once a day. It was a bottle of water, scrambled eggs, a banana, and plain toast
Food you could recognize.
Yeah.
huh? Yeah.
Right.
every day. And I had it sent to the room.
I had a picture of it so you'd show the guy. Bring me this.
Yeah, bring me. That's what I'll do next time I go to India. I'm going to bring a Denny's menu.
Oh my God.
Because how it has pictures of the food?
Right.
This is what I want. Do you have this? I'll just be the ugly American.
Oh my God. That's
Where's
like-
the Denny's? They do have, we had a Starbucks, which was nothing like Starbucks at all
No.
because there's no dairy.
You must have been so upset about that one.
Oh, because what?
We're in India.
Cows,
Cows are
sacred?
sacred there. And that's, if you're driving and there's a traffic jam because there's a cow in the street,
You wait.
you fucking wait. It's illegal to be abusive to it and try to push it out of the way apparently. But yeah, so we're not eating any
Kind of
meat.
like that.
No meat, no dairy. I got my grande coffee thingy and I'm like, this is disgusting.
No, like even non-dairy creamer.
Mm-mm. The pastries are all different.
Okay, that I can imagine.
Yeah.
So it must be a real shock then for Indians coming to this country to see the way we treat cows.
I
then.
know, right? You do what to them?
Yeah.
You ever
I
had a
know,
steak, buddy? So this
I wonder
that's-
what they think. Oh, wonder what they think of the Chick-fil-A billboards with the big cows on them.
You-
You know what I mean? The big fake cows. That say,
How much did you pay that cow to
eat
be on that
chickens?
billboard?
Those, yeah.
I love that ad.
I call it the fuck chickens campaign.
Yeah.
That's what I call it.
So we went from India 2 weeks in India, and from India we went to Bahrain.
Mm.
Now the first thing we all did when we got to Bahrain is we all went to Hell's Kitchen.
I was gonna say you found something familiar.
We went to Hell's Kitchen and we all got steak.
What's Hell's Kitchen? I thought that was a
That's
neighborhood.
that Hell's Kitchen is that famous chef,
The
Oh,
restaurant,
gotcha.
Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, right.
Gordon Ramsay restaurant.
Yeah.
yeah.
I have an aversion to that guy. He get noise. I can't watch.
We
anything.
went there and we staked it up. But yeah, I had my palate. It was the fucking food in India is so goddamn good
Mm.
because they'll fuck a chicken up.
Right.
Yeah,
No beef, but the chicken they'll fuck a chicken up.
yeah.
Kind of wish
Uh,
you had taste buds down there as well.
yeah.
So I could enjoy it twice in the same.
Another thing, when I was in Africa, I've never been a seafood guy. I don't like the way it smells.
You don't like sushi?
Sushi's different. Sushi because you could dip it in some shit that makes that. You know what I'm saying?
Any food that you.
But I get the
any,
super-
any food that you need to disguise to eat. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm done. Nope.
But also, I like the really white American sushi. Like, give me a California roll.
Oh my god!
Like when I'm in
That's-
Tokyo, I'm gonna go, you got any California rolls?
I'm not eating with you.
I'll do the
Don't be
piece of
embarrassing
you like
me in
you
a
like the
sushi
little
restaurant.
piece of raw fish on a board. That's what you like.
No. I mean, I like it. The rolls and stuff, but
Firecracker roll.
not California roll.
Let me get a Cali roll, firecracker roll, dude. Let me get a tempura. That I don't mind, but I'm talking like a fucking piece of fish on a plate.
Yeah, Americans want the baked rolls. Yeah,
Yeah.
Give me a steak roll, please.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So Russell is the same way, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were in, he goes, I'm gonna take you to this restaurant and you're gonna eat fish. I go, but Russell, I don't. He goes, no, me too. He goes, and Russell describes. He goes, I don't like my fish cunty. That's what he the smell,
That is awful.
right? I was like, all right. So it's his tour. I'm on board. I want to experience things. I don't want to be the guy that says no to shit.
Right.
So we go to this amazing restaurant. I don't even remember the name of it. He says, I'm gonna order this fish dish for you, and try. It was fucking delicious.
What did it taste like to you?
Chicken.
All right.
It tasted like really good.
You are the only
chicken.
person I would ever trust to tell me that.
And it didn't smell like fish, and it didn't look like fish,
Mhm.
and it didn't taste like fish.
So you didn't get every piece of information you could about this fish. So you
No,
could
I
have
trust
here?
Russ. I trust him.
No, I mean to get it again. Is that what you
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
No, I was so
Here, I
shocked.
trust Russell. He's not going to kill me.
I was so in shock by how good it was, and it was so good.
Mm.
And sometimes it's good, but then you get that real quick hint. Of
I hate it.
fish.
I hate it. There are two things that people always say. No, you won't even taste it. And for me, this is for me personal, but that's
Yeah.
the fish and beer. Anytime, no, he doesn't even take. Here, it tastes like every beer I've ever tried ever.
So you don't
Yeah.
you don't drink beer?
I don't. No, I don't. I rarely drink alcohol at all.
Me,
Oh, okay.
I rarely drink alcohol.
Bullshit. But that and fish. People are go, oh, it doesn't even taste fishy, and it's like the first thing I can smell when I
Oh.
walk in the room,
Which
which is
is-
disgusting.
Here's the weird thing about it, because I know it's psychological for me. Because when I was growing up, he didn't like this, but I love tuna sandwiches.
Mm.
Like the canned tuna where you mix it and
Yeah,
make
you
it,
got a ton of mayo. You got some.
I love
bread.
that.
Dude, when we were in high school,
Love
and
that.
he'd start making it. Oh,
it grossed him out. There's the restaurant. There's a local restaurant in Long Beach called Hoff's Hut.
Yeah.
And my brother always would have to sit on the patio because when we were inside, remember, you could smell them cooking
Yeah.
the fish.
yeah, I can't. I can't.
So he
sit
couldn't eat
indoors.
inside.
Oh, that's worse, man.
Oy, oy, oy. But
Why
yeah,
does why does the Starkist tuna can? It looks like cat food. It looks like you're buying cat food.
yeah, big time.
Haas
Ooh.
Hut, man.
You like Haas?
That's a Long Beach
Haas
spot.
Hut is one of those places where, as a black man, you walk in and you think,
You know you're a black man.
you think everybody's gonna stop eating and look at you and go, "What the hell are you doing?" here?" It just has that.
Which
feel
one are you
to it.
talking about?
The one on Crenshaw Boulevard in Torrance.
Oh, there's a Hoff's
Nah,
Hut.
that's not one of the.
Oh no,
yeah.
no.
No, that is a Hofstadt.
That is Hofstadt,
yeah,
right?
The,
Yeah.
the originals are over here.
All the originals are in Long
Yeah.
Beach. There's one by my mom's house on Bellflower.
I didn't even
Boulevard.
realize it was a chain.
There was
but
there
yeah,
was
I-
a Big Spinol's location for years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where's there another one now?
There was a Belmont Shore one, and when we were younger,
Yeah.
we went in there one night after hours. They'd be open 24 hours sometimes, and one night we went in there after hours, and Easy E was in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you go. That proves it.
But you know Lucille's,
yeah.
same company.
Okay.
Yeah, Lucille's the same company. Saint and Second. You know that spot on Second Street, beautiful place.
I don't get down to Second Street. that
Same
much.
same company. They're opening St. and Second in LA, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
Well, and just to clarify, not that I think it's that. It's just that's
it's-
the feel.
it-
Like
well,
even when you
it's-
go over here to Bacon Broil. In
Oh,
Sony,
you
it's the same,
feel
it's
like
that
you
same,
just walked into the 50s.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
same feeling. Like there's
And you have,
Americana.
there's
and-
old women in there with the
Yeah.
high beehive hair eating.
Love it.
Well, now they got all.
Old guys in the fedoras reading the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Dave and I both watched North by Northwest,
Yeah.
Hitchcock film.
Not together. It just both of us individually had the idea of watching that movie
Yeah.
for some reason.
I wanna see that.
1959. I remember I was
Great
watching a scene,
movie, my God.
and there was a scene where he was going to get on the train, and the train was slowly going by, and every single person in the train window was reading a paper. And I thought, that looks staged and weird. But then I went, wait, no. That's the same as today if the
Everybody
train
on
goes
their
by
phones.
and everybody's looking at their phone.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
in this one, there was no black people. Oh,
There were.
there was 2 black people in the movie.
Mhm.
Remember who they were?
Yep.
There's a scene where they're at an auction.
1959.
1959, there's a scene where they're at an auction. And
Yeah.
the only black people in the movie were the 2 guys holding the things up that were on auction.
At least they weren't on auction, right?
Oh, man.
Oh, jeez.
Was
That
that?
was a fun. He said, at least they weren't on auction.
Yeah, right.
I always wanted to see that movie because I love trains, and I read a book one time that said they had a train.
Are you
scene in
guys
there.
brothers? And
I know.
I'm out.
I
I
know, right?
Trains.
love trains,
Same.
but they had supposedly there's a scene in there where they show the train car, and it looks like they're in a hotel room. Like, how big can this actually be?
Oh,
In
those-
North by Northwest?
yeah,
There's-
yeah.
Okay, so they would have different stages. There was rooms that were, they would actually call them bedrooms
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
the train.
yeah.
on
And
the
there were
in
also-
the movie, he asked for a bedroom.
Right.
He goes, "Can I get a bedroom?"
Right. Then there were also like just little individual rooms, and they would have like a fold out bed off the wall or something. But-
Yeah, but they said the bedrooms are portrayed to look like like they couldn't fit on a train because
Yeah.
if you go on Amtrak now and you get a bedroom, yeah, you got all kinds of fold off beds. and
Right,
everything. You're lucky to have any
I
space
love
at
the
all.
trains.
Yeah,
One of my best
it was
memories
good.
growing up was we took a train. We took the train up to Portland. My dad had a gig up in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah,
So my mom and my grandmother took us. We were babies. So
Well,
it
we
was-
were walking around. We were old enough to be walking around.
we
the
were
train.
little guys, but yeah,
Yeah,
we were old
yeah.
enough to be. And my brother and I just, man, it was.
We
so
adventured all over
We
this
took
train.
an adventure all over the
cool.
train. The observation car was so cool.
yeah, isn't it? And
Yeah.
they used to have a movie car.
Yeah.
And they had like a playroom car, all this
diner.
other cool stuff.
Hey, remember
Yeah,
the playroom?
Yeah.
They had it
Yeah.
was really cool.
yeah,
Yeah, my mom brought my grandmother so that at night my mom can go to my dad's gigs and grandma stayed with us in the hotel, and that was a memory too. The first time at a hotel,
yeah.
Yeah.
remember we
It was
every
the
morning-
Vagabond.
Every morning we wanted to run down the hall and get the free donuts.
Continental. Yeah, it was a Vagabond.
Speaking of 1959 and black people,
Good segue.
O.J. Simpson is. I want to talk about O.J.
Yeah.
O.J. We just lost the juice. The juice is no longer loose. The juice is a cooked goose.
Pick one.
Yeah. He just passed away. I think it was cancer, right?
Yes.
And the reason I want to talk about it is because it was the thing. See, O.J. Simpson, for those who were born after 1994, was, to our generation, was known as one of the greatest running backs of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
He broke Jim Brown's record, and I don't think his record got broken until Marcus Allen broke it, right? I think it was Marcus Allen that broke his
You
record.
mean his record at SC?
No,
or the-
as a
Uh,
total yards.
I'd have to look it up.
Total yards.
Yeah, that's what he was to us.
So,
He was,
and he was a hometown hero because he played at USC.
do you remember his commercial? His commercial where he ran through the airport?
That was Hertz.
Hertz commercial?
Hertz. Yeah. Hertz. You just
Yeah.
reminded me of the funniest fucking thing somebody posted today. Posted the day he passed away.
Oh, no.
They posted his picture and it said, "This one hurts a lot," and it was spelled Hertz.
Oh, man.
Some of the memes are hilarious. There's this just him and Nicole holding each other, and it says under his name, under his picture, it says cancer, and under her picture, it says O.J. Simpson.
Oh, no.
People are saying, "Man, now we're not going to find the real killer now that he's dead," because he was supposedly the one who searched. He was like, I'm going to dedicate my time now to find the real killers.
Yeah.
And all he did was
Brad Williams, your buddy Brad.
Mm.
He's really doubling down on he tweeted it and then he posted a video of him doing it on stage where he says now he can finally rest knowing that his wife's killer is.
Yeah. His wife's killer's dead. But he was everybody loved him. And like I said, those of you that were born 94, even 95, 96, you don't, a lot of people are like, why do people pay so much attention to this guy? Well, you know, he was accused of murdering his wife
But like brutally.
in an innocent bystander guy, not bystander, but it was a friend of hers, Ron Goldman. But yeah, her aunt or something left her mother left her glasses at the restaurant, and then I believe it was called Mezzaluna there in Brentwood. So Ron Goldman
Mezzaluna.
knew where Nicole was living at the time, so he walked over because it was really close. He went over to return her glasses, and I guess they think. See, okay, what you have to know is the wife and the guy were killed. So you think, oh, he caught them together.
They were unalived.
Unalive. He caught them together. Apparently, what they think the actual theory is, or the working theory is that he was already in the act of taking care of Nicole, and Ron walked up on it.
Right.
Already happening.
Got it.
And, you know, he apparently fought a lot. There were like defensive wounds on his hands. The guy was a black belt, by the way.
No way.
Yeah. There were defensive wounds on his hands, and you could tell he put up a fight. But just O.J. Simpson, or whoever the alleged unaliver was, he 6'1". I think Simpson was 6'1", 6'2", and at the time 220 pounds or something. Big, strong guy, and an able-bodied guy. I mean, he was a professional athlete. But it turns out that, you know, when all this happened, they did a lot of investigating and found that there were past phone calls to the police from her. For him, he was extremely jealous, like a really jealous guy.
Right.
He always wanted to be the winner. He was always wanting to win everything, and he couldn't, for some reason, they said that he couldn't control Nicole Brown. Like he couldn't control her because she was her own person. But she was so much younger than him too. He was, you know, at the time of the whole thing, he was under 50. He was 46 years old, I think.
Okay.
And let's add for the record, for those people who are, like you said, not up on this, he was actually acquitted of those charges.
Right, kind of.
Yeah.
So he was acquitted of them criminally.
Criminally, right.
Civilly, in civil court, he was found responsible. He was found responsible in civil court.
Yeah, he was found liable.
They took him to court, and a jury without any of that. I mean, okay. Here's what the big deal was. When it happened, O.J. fled. This was 1994.
Famous white Broncos.
Yep. There was a famous, like if you're seeing all these memes with a white Ford Bronco.
A slow speed chase.
1993 Ford Bronco.
What's that about?
Yeah. Some of the memes were funny too. They see the one that it's a Ford Bronco, but it's a hearse.
No.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
Yeah. I'm like, and if that would have been the best procession. But he was acquitted of
Al Cowley's
her, you know, unaliving his wife, his estranged wife. I'm not sure they were divorced yet. I know they were separated, but I don't know if they were divorced.
Yeah.
But the scene was brutal. And it was one of the worst parts of the whole thing was the kids were upstairs. The kids were home at the Bundy location. And they were upstairs.
The children he had with her, right?
The children he had with her. Yeah. His grown children, I don't know what the deal was with them at the time. I think, what's his son's name?
Well, there's this conspiracy going on, theory about.
Well, let's wait to get to that.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Should we get into their whole little social group too? That does.
Yeah, understand. These people were L.A. royalty almost. Like Kim Kardashian's godfather is O.J. Simpson. A lot of people don't know that, but her godfather is O.J. Like there's a story that he's when he was going through his crazy time after everything, when he was in Vegas drinking and making like X-rated rap videos. He was just lost his mind.
Wait, when was this?
Yeah.
The Vegas years.
What's the Vegas years? When was that?
Okay, like early 2000s. Okay,
So after V on that, huh? The Vegas year.
Yeah, the Vegas years. baby.
Okay. Oh,
So-
when that whole thing went down with when he was
Well, he did time. He actually ended up doing
that guy with his memorabilia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
And that's
okay.
why he
I'm
did
sorry.
time.
Go ahead.
So, anyways, back to 94. His wife is unalived. Her friend, Ron Goldman, here's the Bronco chase happening. Her friend, Ron Goldman, was there, and he also got unalived. And the LAPD was called because a dog was barking because she had an Akita. that was there. The dog was barking, so the police were called, and they walked up on the most horrific scene. I mean, apparently she was almost decapitated. It was bad, and it was violent. It was investigators and crime scene people say sometimes the violence is so much that it's obviously personal. Like it's a personal. This person knew her. It wasn't a robbery. Nothing was stolen. There was a glove left at the scene, and the theory behind that is that Ron was putting up a fight and maybe grabbed his hand, and when OJ pulled his hand out, the glove fell. And the other glove was found on OJ's property behind the house, all that stuff. And so when he was, also the night of that murder, I don't know no other word to say for it. Like
Event.
The night of
tragic event.
The night of the tragic event.
There you go.
OJ jumped on an airplane and flew to Chicago. Right? But there was a
going to Chicago. Sorry, babe, I can't take you
because you're dead. I didn't do a big way. There's a long period of time where he's unaccounted for. Like no one knows where he was.
He was with Diddy.
Okay.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was with Diddy. That's where
He was with Diddy, right? So the limo driver that was taking him to the airport reported that he goes, I saw a guy in all black clothing run up to the house, and then whatever minutes later he came out with his suitcases, and I took him to the airport. He had a major gash on his hand, and there was just the evidence was just so overwhelmingly against him, so overwhelmingly against him. But one of the things that a lot of people have to understand about this time in LA, it was just off the Rodney King thing.
Yeah.
Where the police that almost ended his life were acquitted. LA went absolutely ape shit with the riots and all that stuff.
I remember that day.
There was a lot of politics in the decision in the OJ case, I think. And if you watch the proceedings, his defense team was genius in the fact that they were able to take all of the focus off of him, and they literally put the LAPD on trial.
Yeah, they did.
They had Mark Furman. We all know what kind of shit that guy said, and there was tapes to prove it, and they got him for perjury because he lied on the stand. They were like, "Have you ever used the N-word?" Never have. Have you ever referred to these people as N-words? Never have. Never done that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this woman that did an interview with him 10 years prior in 1985 goes, actually, I have about 100 tapes of him saying that word over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And his defense was like, it was a script. No, it was very obvious that he was a racist. He says he's not. He's just, there's a difference between using that word and being a racist. Interesting. The thing is though, and I'm going to say this, he was a really good cop. I don't mean a good person cop, but he was a good investigator. He was good. I mean, he did have some
he was just a piece of shit.
Police brutality complaints and shit like that.
Of course.
And this guy is the one who found the other glove at the property. So now they're like, he planted it. That glove was planted there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I had just used a glove to commit a murder, I think that'd be the last place I'd put it is behind my house.
You never know. But that's the thing. It probably wasn't purposely placed there. I think he may have dropped it because if you think
whoever
about
he may be,
right? But you remember he had a house guy. He had a house pool boy, Cato Kalin, who I became friends with through the comedy world. We've done shows together. Interesting guy. Cato was in his little room, and outside of his wall where that glove was found, that night he heard two large bangs on the wall. Boom, boom. Like someone running into something. And if you look at the photographs of that scene, there's like an air conditioning unit popping out. He could have ran into that. But also, you're in a huge panicked hurry. You just did some craziness. And you're trying to get to an airport to get yourself an alibi. You never know what kind of mistakes when you rush anything, you're going to make some mistakes.
Right.
And that to me, that's kind of a theory. So he gets on the plane, goes to Chicago, and then they call him and say, hey, guess what? Your wife is no longer with us. And so then he flies home, and then there's just and then the thing is they went to OJ's house simply just to, tell him what happened.
Inform him.
They had to inform him of his wife's passing.
Right.
So that's the only reason they went there. But then while they were there, they're looking around, they're going, those are blood droplets on the driveway. Those are blood spots on his car. Like, wait a minute.
Hmm.
And then Furman climbed the fence because no one was answering the door, and he needed to let this guy know, because then he's like, oh, this could, because their thought process at the time was this could be like a whole thing. There could be people in the house that are unalived. This could be like a hit of some sort. So like, no one's answering. We need to figure out what's going on. So we got to get in there just in case,
Right.
they need help in there.
Hmm.
And when he went into the property is when they started noticing all this. I mean, I could see planting a glove, but planting blood drops everywhere. Oh no, man. And the trail literally went from the crime scene to his car, through his driveway, up his walk, up the stairs, into his bedroom.
But I think I remember hearing something about how they tainted evidence and didn't collect.
Well, they screwed it up.
Yeah, because that was the first time I've ever heard that. Like,
They screwed it up. Like
Cops do
the Fung, what was his name? The crime scene guy?
Alan?
The forensic guy?
no,
He-
it's an Asian guy.
I know Fung was the first.
Something like
last-
that.
I just can't remember his first name. But
So these guys were all, it
real
was
quick,
like the
one
fucking
of the
Keystone
things-
Cops, man.
Right. And because of all that stuff, this trial was when everybody first started learning about DNA. Remember?
Yeah, DNA,
That was not
PCR testing and all
learning
that
about it, but
stuff.
as far as
and it's come
forensics
so
go.
far.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's come far. So one of the things that happened at the trial is they asked that guy, Fong or whatever his name was, did you pick anything up without gloves on? He says, no. And they're like, are you sure about that? He goes, yeah. Okay, then what do you, then they show him a video of him leaning down over a crime scene, picking stuff up with no glove on. So they're saying this is a taint. Now all this stuff could be tainted,
Yeah.
which, come on. They were literally putting the PD on trial.
Yeah.
And they did screw up. They made so many dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, there's a great documentary series right now that you could watch. It came out in, I think it came out in 16 or 17. It's on, right now it's on Netflix. They re-released it because of, the passing of O.J.
Yeah.
It's called O.J. Simpson Made in America. And I think it's something like 5 episodes.
I remember that.
And the details, it's incredible. Incredible. So back to the crime scene. So he's in Chicago. They get him back to L.A. They charge him. They put him in handcuffs immediately, and that's all caught on camera. You understand, O.J. is known his whole life. Everybody loved him, and he was the hero. And he needs, not wants, he needs everyone to like him.
Right.
Like, even in the recording of him talking before, they thought he was Dennis Fung was his name. Before
Alan, that was close.
when they were talking to, he did a recording because he was going to unalive himself. Which he wasn't going to do because he's a narcissist. And most people that do that, they don't make such a big deal and a big show of it. They just go somewhere quietly and do it.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, I just want everybody to remember the OJ that you liked. Just remember the good OJ. Like, that's very important to him. It was very important to him. So for you kids, the Bronco chase, this was huge in LA. So he was scheduled to meet with the police and do a press conference at 11 a.m. on, I believe, October or something. I don't remember what it was.
What year?
94.
4.
And they had to do the press conference, and the police just kept making themselves look like morons over and over again because they were giving this guy special treatment. He was getting 100. He was friends with a lot of police officers. There's a police that was involved in the case, officer named Ron Shipp, who was like OJ was his hero when he was a kid, and then he became friends with him and would like hang out at the house and stuff. And he always had the police over there. There he is. Al Cowlings driving the Bronco. There it is. Al.
In that
Oh, wait,
photo,
that's not me. This-
OJ's laying down.
He's in the back seat with a gun to his chin.
And this guy's driving like Sunday afternoon.
Oh, it was so slow. It was so slow. And that's another thing. You look at videos of how the police officers handle slow speed chases like this. They do that. What's that pitch move? They call it a pitch move or something where they have this move they do with their car where they'll hit the corner of the bumper
Back
of the car
end of
that
it,
they're-
twist
and it
around.
turns them into a spin.
Pincer, or not pincer, but something like that.
Yeah. But with this guy, with this dude, they're just following him. It's almost like it reminded you of when the president's in town and the police are escorting him everywhere.
Yeah.
That's what it
It
looked
was like a procession.
It was it was more of a procession than a chase. They weren't chasing him. They were observing him and wondering what's going on. And let's just watch him. And they're on the phone with him. OJ, where you going? Just keep the gun off your da-da-da. And he ends up going back to his
Well, remember all the people on the sides of the
it was
roads?
insanity. in
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah, I remember
Because
that
people
too.
got wind
Holding up
because
signs and
all the news channels got in their helicopters and went into the sky looking for this guy. and they found him. And so people were going to the freeways. People were blocking the freeways, standing over overpasses with signs, "Go OJ, go."
Mhm.
And you have to understand the climate in LA at the time. No one even acknowledged the fact that this guy could have actually done this thing. It was another black man being persecuted by the LAPD, and everybody was like, "Go," because you have to understand where everybody's state of mind was at the time.
Yeah.
We just got over, and we know this in our age group.
Right.
We had just gotten over, and not even gotten over, but just gotten through the whole Rodney King thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because when those guys got found innocent and were acquitted, everybody was kind of like, "What?"
Yeah.
How did
Everybody.
that happen?
Everybody, because they're like, "Wait a minute, we have videotaped evidence this time. Get out of this one, LAPD. Good luck." And they did.
Yeah.
They got out of it.
Mhm.
And that was not cool. And it caused, and that's what sparked the 92 riots?
92.
That's what it sparked all that. So here we are 2 years later. And now we have this guy who, by the way, Solomon, you can tell me if you agree or not. O.J. Simpson pretty much turned his back on the black community. He wouldn't even call himself a black athlete. He's like, "I'm not black." He would say this. He was quoted as saying, "I'm not black. I'm O.J. Simpson." And if you notice, he surrounded himself with all of his rich white friends. Check this out. One of the officers, when the Bronco chase ended at his property,
Mm-hmm.
OJ, they went in there, they arrested him, they put him in a car, and when they got him in the car and they drove off the property, and he saw all those people out in front of his, because people followed the chase all the way to the house.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where he lived in Brentwood at Rockingham, there weren't black people in that neighborhood. And if they were at OJ's level. You know what I mean? And so OJ Simpson says this when they get out of the gate. He said, "What are all these N-words doing in Brentwood?" OJ said that to the cops in the car.
Who heard this?
The cops in the car.
Oh.
OJ looks and goes, "What are all these N-words doing in Brentwood?" And those were the people that were like, "Oh, OJ, the juice is loose." You know what I mean? They were,
Did he hard R it?
hard on it.
Okay.
And, but then he,
You know, it's a difference.
Hard R.
and the black community embraced him. You know, they were what's that big church in LA?
Oh, the big LA church.
AME something.
Yes.
Oh, I was close. I was close.
Good guess, Dave. The big LA church. Good guess. But you know, they were, "Let's pray for brother OJ," and so many people were like, there's this one pastor that said, I sat back and I was like, "What's this motherfucker done for us?" You know what I mean? Like, why are we in?
Mm.
But it was more about, because of the climate and the 92 riots.
Yeah.
The trial was more about the LAPD, not for
Yes.
the prosecution. Prosecution was like, "Hey, can we stop with all this distraction and talk about what we're here for?" But famous lawyer, no longer with us, rest in peace, Johnny Cochran. He was a big time civil rights lawyer here in Los Angeles, and he won cases against the LAPD when that just wasn't happening.
Right.
You know, he was the man. And so they got him on board. You know, he was one of the guys that defended Michael Jackson. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he defended Michael Jackson. And he's a genius. He was a genius. If the finger doesn't fit,
You must have quit.
No, the glove.
Oh,
he's talking about the Michael Jackson.
Oh. Hadn't heard that one.
sorry.
Oh man,
Bad taste.
that was funny.
Well,
So Johnny gets in, he says, "We're going to play the race card and we're going to go after the LAPD. That's what we're going to do." Because if you remember, after the case was won, Shapiro, is it Ron Shapiro? What was Shapiro's first name? His lawyer,
I know who
Shapiro.
you talk about. Yeah, Bob.
Bob Shapiro, in an interview, said, not only did he play the race card, he played it from the bottom of the deck. And then he
Yeah.
said, they're like, will you ever talk to Johnny Cochran again? He says, "I will never talk to that man again in my life."
Man.
Because apparently he was just like, I mean, if you look at the footage, he was always wearing a tie with the dashiki design on it. They went really, really like that. And there's a hilarious SNL sketch of it where Tim Meadows is wearing like these giant hoop earrings.
Oh,
Johnny
God.
Cochran,
Oh,
he's wearing the
geez.
giant hoop earrings, and then it goes to it pans to the panel of other judges, and like F. Lee Bailey's like no shirt with this big African necklace on, and
all right. Wait. Let's do just a quick Google view of this. I want to see this.
Of what?
The ties. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So we got this one. There's a colorful one there.
yeah.
There's this one here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And he'll tell you, and
That's
he would
interesting.
say things like, the black community likes big. They like a big spectacle. And that's why he did the thing where like, if it doesn't fit, it must have quit. Like it's a big and it's a rhyme. And the jury, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, were swayed immediately. And they were morons. Like they judged instead of the evidence, one woman was interviewed, she was basing her judgment on the performance of the lawyers. Yeah, he wasn't good. And like one of the jurors, they interviewed this one juror in this documentary, and they go, "What do you think of Marcia Clark?" This is an older black woman. She just went like this, "Marcia Clark."
Oh, wow. Thumbs down.
Yeah.
Was it because of her perm?
Bad perm, by the way.
Remember that?
You sure it wasn't just because
You don't remember her perm? Come on.
she didn't prove her case in court?
No, they had crazy evidence, the blood, everything. But what they did with the blood is they said, well, it was contaminated.
Right.
Because
So
that
they
guy
couldn't
touched
use
it.
as evidence, right?
But it was like,
And then this guy has a
Like
history of
today,
this or that or whatever.
how far the blood testing has come today,
Yeah.
he'd have been. Here's how you know. And here's how you know it wasn't based on her proving her point.
Mhm.
Because guess how long they deliberated? Mind you, they were. This trial was almost a year long, 221 something days.
Right.
Sequestered too, right?
Sequestered.
Right.
They had to be in a hotel room. They couldn't talk to each other. They couldn't talk to their family. They couldn't look at news, anything. They almost year-long trial with just piles of evidence to go through. Piles.
Wow.
That's how long it took them to deliberate.
Less than 4 hours.
Less than 4 hours.
Yeah.
How do you deliberate all that evidence in less than 4 hours? They all went, and then in interviews years later in like 2016, they're like, we wanted to go home.
Right.
We wanted to go home. They didn't want any more riots. So like, let's let this motherfucker go. And that's what they did. It was that simple.
Now,
just let him off. Let's go home.
well, let me ask you this now that we're here and now, in 2024, he's passed and these different conspiracies are coming out. Is there any new knowledge about evidence?
Oh man, there's not, I don't know about now, but in 2016, there was a whole lot. Like his manager that was in charge of like his day-to-day, they were interviewing him and oh man, they were at his house drinking and O.J. was smoking weed, drinking, and they were having a conversation and he said, O.J., did you do this? And O.J. just kind of went, man, if she didn't answer the door with a knife in her hand, she'd still be here.
See, that's still not because I've heard this thing, this conspiracy theory lately that people think his son did it.
Well, yeah, that was a conspiracy that happened. They think that it was his son, and his son.
I heard that a while ago.
And apparently, his son
I've
was
only heard it.
attracted in a very unhealthy way to Nicole.
Mhm.
And but yeah, they said that he may have done it, and OJ was just taking the bullet for him. Which, by the way, as a father,
Yeah.
I think I'd do it. And when you said that's not a confession,
Mm.
but the detail of saying it was her knife,
Right. Yeah. It's just like, wow. Yeah.
But and then there was a couple of other things like that where he had like really good friends that would have these aha moments where they're just like, oh shit, he did it.
Mm.
The
one thing that stuck out in my memory from back at the trial is when they announced the verdict. I remember really tripping out on Kardashian's response to that, like the way he reacted.
Oh, he looked like this dude just got murdered.
Why can't I remember his Robert
Kardashian.
Robert? Like he had this really like, oh no kind of face, and I always never really understood that. You know what I mean?
Because he was shocked.
Yeah.
Because he was quote unquote one of his best friends,
Mm.
and that's another thing. OJ will deny that. I maybe saw him like twice a year, or no, Kardashian would deny that in the beginning. Look at the difference in Marcia.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
I was trying to put that up here. Let's
Oh,
Marcia
my
Clark's
Lord.
sperm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Left wouldn't smash. Right wouldn't smash.
Right. Well,
She ended up getting a career in television. And
I've seen a couple
in a-
of her
in a-
shows. She's
I-
sharp, dude. I
yeah,
dig
she's
her.
a sharp. She
I
was
think she's
she was
cool,
a
man.
first of all, before the OJ thing, she was a very celebrated prosecutor. She was the shit. And it wasn't until the OJ thing where that she got this shitty reputation and this and that. And it was because of it was everything except the case. It was all of the climate, the racism, the LAPD, the Rodney King.
I just remember thinking, and kind of it seemed that Chris Darden, when he wanted, because wasn't it his idea for OJ to try
Also,
the glove on?
the trying the glove on thing. Give me a freaking break. Here's what happened. So somebody, I believe it may have been, what's his name? What's his lawyer's name? OJ's lawyer's name?
Cochran.
Johnny Cochran at one point put the glove on, and it was huge. It was so big, so huge on his hand.
On Cochran's.
Yeah. And they were like, we don't need him to put the glove on. The jury just saw, obviously, it's a huge glove. We don't need to. And Darden wanted his moment. Now, mind you, they're leather. They're probably expensive, right? There's some shrinkage because it's leather and it's been in evidence. Also, latex gloves. They had latex gloves
With
on.
talcum powder.
And OJ, by the way, has arthritis. And Johnny told him, stop taking your arthritis medicine because they're going to want to put the glove on your hand. Stop taking your arthritis meds.
What?
So your hands swell?
Swelled up, couldn't move them.
Hands on swole.
Yeah. At some point, Cochran had to know he was defending a murderer. At some point, he had to. He can't fully believe.
One of the things that people really made people kind of believe he did it was when he did that thing called "If I Did It." Have you ever seen that?
Oh, it's a book or something?
When and he
Well,
was,
yeah.
it was video of him saying, and then I did this, and then now, and he kept catching himself and go, now this is all hypothetical.
Yeah.
But he kept saying, I did this, I did that.
You hear what happened with that book, right?
No.
So he got this book deal, but you have to understand, any money that he made went to the Goldmans and the Browns because they won. No, the Goldmans, because they did find him liable for the crime in a civil trial.
Right.
They took him to court in a civil trial, and it was like unanimous, like crazy, and it was all closed doors. It wasn't televised. There wasn't none of the Furman stuff was taken. None of that shit. It was all about the crime, and it was like, yo, unanimous. This dude did it, and he's liable. So $33 million is what they won. And Goldman said this in an interview. He goes, one of the things you have to understand about a civil judgment is it's just a piece of paper. You're not given a check immediately for $33 million.
Right.
And then the guy that's with the money is going to do everything he can to hide it. Anyways, so any money that OJ made publicly or whatever went to them. So they ended up squashing the book deal. But what they did is they got the rights to it. So the Goldmans, anytime that book was sold, the Goldmans made money.
Oh, wow.
And what they did is they made a few changes. They took the word "if" and they made it really, really small inside the I.
That's what I'm looking at.
So it
here.
looks like I did it.
What?
Yeah, let's
Show
see
it?
Yeah.
I didn't
let's see
realize that. I always just thought it was called If I Did It.
No, let's
I never
see
saw
here.
the logo. What a
Like if
trip.
you look, because
Let's see
the
it.
original book, it did say "if I did it," but what they did is look at the "if."
Oh, wow. And it's
Yeah,
it's even
it's a
like the
little
same
bitty-
color
Yeah.
palette.
Yeah, look
Like,
at that.
Look at
Yeah.
that one. It just
Yeah.
blends right in.
That's crazy. Because I'm looking at this going, is this the same book? It's because
But look
says,
at the-
I did it.
No,
But look at the cover of the book. Look, zoom out a little bit. Look at how those gloves aren't all the way on.
No,
They're not pulled all the way on. And I remember we were like 19, 20 or something, as a kid
21.
going, he's not wearing them all the way. Why is everybody tripping like that was such a, he obviously didn't, and he kept going like this, like he was trying to pull them on. And they put Furman on trial. They put the LAPD on trial. But yeah, you young kids, watch the documentary series. It's called O.J. Simpson, Made in America. It's very enlightening, but you'll realize what a big deal that Bronco chase was. And it was the trial of the century. That's what it was. It was dubbed as the trial of the century. Because before any of this, O.J. was the most liked. I loved him in Naked Gun?
Yeah.
Police Squad?
What was
He played a couple of serious roles. He did a few serious roles that were, pretty bad. He was in Towering Inferno.
Oh, yeah.
He was in a lot of, his acting career was taken off.
Yeah.
And then he went and screwed up. he was just so jealous, man. And apparently he was super jealous of Marcus Allen because Nicole did
Well,
hook
is
up
it
with
jealousy or is it possessiveness?
both.
Okay.
Because Nicole did hook up with Marcus Allen. Like, if you're going to hook up with another dude when you're separated with, don't do it with one of his best friends.
Yeah, that's
Because
weird.
then you'll find out where you live and then you don't know. But yeah, so that's the brief history of Mr. O.J. Simpson. He really starts in the Bay Area where he went to high school, and he was a high school hero that got into USC, and
That's right.
he took USC to the Rose Bowl, and then he was drafted to Buffalo to play Buffalo, New York for the Buffalo Bills, and he was bummed because OJ was an LA Hollywood guy. He loved it out here.
You gotta live
So
in
when he
Buffalo.
but what he did in his first few years in Buffalo, they had a bad coach. They had a coach that wasn't utilizing his skills. This coach was really big into the passing game, and you needed to have a running game. So
Right.
they fired that coach, and OJ had a bad few seasons because of this coach. And people were saying, "Well, was this a dud? Was this guy blah blah blah?"
Mhm.
But then they hired this new coach who was big on the running game. Next thing you know, they're winning everything, and he's breaking records and becoming O.J. Simpson, who's
The juice.
running. The juice is loose. Did you ever see that footage of when he got acquitted? That old lady. The juice is loose.
No.
Oh my God, it was so. Oh, the celebrating was so like today. Watching it then, I was like, oh, this is a little cringy. But today, watching it, I'm like, this is so cringy. These people should be so embarrassed.
Isn't
by
it?
the way they're
Isn't
acting.
it? Isn't it ick?
It's so icky.
Okay.
Okay, so just to clarify, you believe he's guilty.
I 100% believe he's guilty.
Okay, just check.
Just to clarify, do you believe he's guilty? As a brother.
Why is it gotta be that?
That's what the world made it.
You know, I have a different perspective, and you have to remember that my perspective comes from Black people being railroaded like
100%.
regularly, right?
And that's
And so you
the biggest
almost can't just be like, oh my God, he's just not guilty. What I can say is he was acquitted, and
100%.
they did do jury selection.
Bad.
And all of
Bad
that
jury.
and all of that stuff. I mean, everybody had their opportunity
But
to
it
put
is
this
the
guy
system
under,
at
and
work, yeah.
there you go.
What about the civil trial?
Because, well, like you said, civil trials are just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And think about it.
But it was a bunch. It was a jury
it's
saying he
like,
did it.
It's almost like a consolation prize, though, if you think about
Yeah.
it. Because civil trial just means we found you liable. It doesn't mean we think you did it or you did it. It just means we found you liable.
Right.
Watch the documentary series, and let me know if that changes your opinion. Because he went absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
We're gonna go a little over if that's okay.
You know what I just thought of?
He
We
Listen.
should real quick about this kind of stuff.
Uh.
We should. You know who gets so into this? Mom, dude.
we should have.
Imagine if we had mom in here
Oh yeah, we'll bring mom.
talking about that. Would be funny, man.
So one of the things you have to look at historically is how his behavior afterwards. When he got acquitted, he just was like business as usual. Hit the golf course, very cocky, never upset. Look, he never ever looked sad that the mother of his children had just been,
Right. And then the
And
argument there is
then-
going to be like everybody handles grief differently.
Well, also people handle guilt differently.
Mhm.
And he just fell and spiraled into drugs and alcohol. He was doing really distasteful things. Like he had a pay-per-view special that he talked, and it was just so bizarre. And then he went into this whole thing where he was like wearing costumes and making himself
Really?
look
See, I don't know about any of this.
making himself look like a clown. He did like a rap video where it was like all these nude white women in the video, and
Oh man, I don't remember any.
it was crazy. And then when he would talk about her, there was a lot of laughing and like
Mhm.
it was the behavior afterwards was like, whoa, this is a little telling. He didn't look grief stricken at all.
Mm.
Didn't look grief stricken at all.
Well, now I'm going to go watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Yo, check it out. O.J. Simpson Made in America. You guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the Unidentical Pod. That's Unidentical Pod. Make sure you go to, if you want to listen to us, we're on all the streaming. We got,
All the things.
what are we at? Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Spotify. You can check us out on YouTube as well. And don't forget to go to unidenticalpod.com for all of this stuff, okay? Thank you guys so much for joining us. And remember, best place to do a podcast is where?
Podcast Place.
On the corner of podcast and place. Podcastplace.com. Check it out. Later, guys.
Unidentical.